Welcome to Finnish black metal. Here we have a new band, actually founded a few years ago, but new band in terms of having now its debut album out since July 2020. This band is called Väki, with their album called Kuolleen, maan, omaksi. Now this band name is something like folk or people. Not exactly the most black metalish of all their names, and this album title is kind of hard to translate because it actually means something like to be owned by dead country or dead land, to be taken by dead land. Well, something in that direction anyway. And this digipak format is actually very nice. This is a kind of a collaboration release by Refining Darkness and Saturnal Records. Redefining Darkness from United States and Saturnal Records from Finland, so sort of a joint cooperation, which I guess means that this European or at least Finnish version of this Finnish band is released by a Finnish label, and this North American format is taken care by the American label. Don't know the details, don't really care. What matters is that it should be available because of this in both continents. Kind of a nice imagery here, if you can take a look. Seems like this already kind of undead looking person is taken care of by some kind of spirits or ghosts. So already this cover art takes me to a feeling or atmosphere that is very, very Finnish, but it's also kind of like ghastly, kind of like spectral and undeadish, which in my opinion is very, very interesting. Now as you can see, these lyrics are here in Finnish. Readable only if you can read Finnish. Let's take a look at the band's Metal Archives site so you can see the basic information while I tell you about this album. So you can see the discography is rather short, and these members have been said to play in a band called Deathkin, which is a little bit more than just black metal, kind of a black death stuff, but also quite a few smaller other bands. So it seems like band members have gone from many different sources to join in this band. Anyway, this album is actually some 45 minutes. This version has a bonus track which takes it almost to 53 minutes. So if we click different versions, you will see this CD version, which then again actually lists here as like 7 tracks, but in my version it shows only 6 tracks, and the overall length is a little bit shorter. Now, the first and foremost feeling with this album is that it's quite straightforward, fast tempo, aggressive, maybe a kind of a violent kind of Finnish black metal. Definitely Finnish black metal because all the riffs, the general sound and all the stuff now accompanied with, Finnish titles and lyrics gives you this kind of a typical Finnish black metal feeling. Kind of a modern, but also kind of a timeless. Not exactly the 1990s feeling, but somewhat vaguely 2000 something. And that is then accompanied with rather lengthy songwriting and composition, which is not exactly not that great thing unless you just happen to be a big fan of this style. Now, don't get me wrong. The band has diversity. It can pretty much go from fast to rather slow, almost like Doom-like of feelings. And then just pace it up again with more speed and all that stuff. And that is a good thing, most obviously. Also, the overall atmosphere is kind of sinister and dark, kind of a very typical in the Finnish black metal. So nothing wrong in that sector. But those riffs are not exactly the most memorable. So while the atmosphere is good, some of the riffs are rather like filling material. Then when you combine that with track lengths from 7 to 9 minutes, only a couple of tracks being, technically only one track being shorter than 7 minutes, it gets a little tiresome. The thing here is, the band doesn't really seem to know when to stop. Stop while you're winning. Don't just go expanding it, like endlessly. In my opinion, these songs would have worked with some 30% of the fat trimmed off. So while it's kind of a good in atmosphere, it gets a little bit boring with the repetition, and totally the composition is not there. Well, the overall feeling is pretty cool. I strongly recommend you to check it out, but just don't expect A quality. That's all from Rauta. See you soon with more reviews coming your way.